You were taught to look for signs. Today, you learn to write them. What if every coincidence wasn't a test, but an echo of a reality you've already begun to create inside? This is not another guide on manifestation. This is your training to become the architect of your timeline. The greatest power lies not in seeing the future, but in choosing one, and living it so fully in the present that the universe has no choice but to agree. What is the one decision that, if you made it today, would make your reality of tomorrow unrecognizable? There is a quiet frustration that lives in the hearts of many who walk a spiritual path. It is the feeling of doing everything you've been told, you visualize, you affirm, you hope, only to find yourself waking up in the same reality, day after day. This frustration is born from a fundamental misunderstanding. You were taught to ask the universe for a new life, when your real power is to inform the universe of a decision that has already been made. For too long, you have been a passive spectator to your own existence. But your true nature is not that of the audience. It is that of the architect, the creator, the director. The philosopher Robert Anton Wilson spoke of this phenomenon as living within a reality tunnel. We do not experience objective reality. We experience a version of it that is filtered through the narrow lens of our deepest beliefs and conditioning. Your reality tunnel may be one of struggle, of not enoughness, of waiting for something to happen. And as long as you remain within it, the universe can only deliver experiences that match its walls. The first act of true power is to realize you can leave the tunnel. Imagine your life is not a film you are watching, but a film you are directing. At any moment, you have the sovereign authority to stand up from your chair and yell, "Cut!" You can look at a scene, a relationship, a career path, a way of being that causes you pain, and decide, this scene does not serve the story I am here to tell. You have the power to discard it entirely, not out of anger, but out of creative clarity. And then, you can pick up the slate, mark scene 2, take 1, and begin filming the version of your life that reflects your highest, truest intention. The director's cut. This is not an act of aggression, but one of profound self-honor. It is the refusal to continue participating in a narrative that diminishes your spirit. And so, here is a moment for honest reflection. Look at the landscape of your life right now. How often have you felt like a supporting actor in your own movie? Reading lines you didn't write, playing a role that feels too small, waiting for the main character, your future self, to finally show up and save the day. What if that character isn't coming? What if the power has been with you, the director, all along? To direct a new film, you must first understand the very nature of the screen upon which it is projected. Why is the fabric of reality itself so responsive to your direction in the first place? To direct a new reality, you must first accept a profound truth about the world you inhabit. It is not solid. Your perception of a fixed, external, and unchangeable world is a masterfully constructed illusion. The ancients knew this through intuition, and now modern science is reluctantly proving them right. The universe is not a block of concrete. It is a shimmering, intelligent field of infinite potential, awaiting your instruction. The evidence for this lies in the most foundational and unsettling discovery of the last century, the quantum physics experiment known as the double slit. When scientists are not observing, the fundamental particles of matter behave like waves of pure possibility, existing in all potential states at once. But the moment an instrument of observation is put in place, the moment consciousness enters the equation, those waves of possibility collapse into a single definite particle in a single definite location. The implication of this is staggering, and it is the bedrock of all authentic creation. The act of conscious observation is not a passive event. It is an act of creation. Your awareness is what turns the infinite potential of the field into the tangible experience you call reality. This cosmic principle is mirrored perfectly within the architecture of your own mind. Researchers like Dr. Joe Dispenza have brought the ancient concept of mind over matter into the modern laboratory, showing us that when you intentionally focus your thoughts and feelings on a desired future, you begin to change your brain. You are activating new neural pathways. The old adage of neuroscience is that neurons that fire together wire together. This means you can, with deliberate practice, build the neurological hardware of your future self. You are literally installing the brain of the person you intend to become, making your mind a fertile ground for a new reality to take root, long before it appears in the outside world. And here lies the great convergence, the meeting point of the laboratory and the temple. Modern science, with all its advanced instruments, is not discovering new truths. It is simply arriving, with mechanical precision, at the very same conclusion the mystics reached through deep introspection thousands of years ago. The ancient Hermetic text, the Kabbalion, lays down this law with perfect simplicity. The all is mind, the universe is mental. This is not merely a philosophical statement. It is a description of the universe's operating system. It means that reality is fundamentally a projection of consciousness. The world is not something that contains you. It is something that is contained within you. It is a holographic field, and your inner state is the blueprint that gives it form. These three pillars, quantum physics, neuroscience, and ancient wisdom, are not separate fields of study. They are three different languages describing the same singular revolutionary truth. The universe is alive, it is intelligent, and it responds to the focused awareness of a conscious mind. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are in a constant, dynamic dialogue with the field of potential itself. So if our consciousness is the command, what is the specific frequency we must broadcast for the field to respond? This brings us to the very heart of the creative process, the immutable law of resonance. The language the universe speaks is not one of words or thoughts. It is the language of frequency. The most common mistake on the path of creation is believing that thinking positive thoughts is enough to change your reality. But thoughts are only a whisper in a storm. The storm itself, the force that truly commands the field of potential, is your emotional state. This is the principle of resonance. Resonance is not a mystical concept. It is a fundamental law of physics. Imagine you are in a room with two acoustic tuning forks, both engineered to vibrate at the precise frequency of the musical note do. You strike the first tuning fork and it begins to hum, emitting a clear, audible tone. Then, you walk to the other side of the room and listen closely to the second tuning fork, the one you never touched. It too is vibrating. It is humming with the exact same note. It had no choice. It was built to respond to that specific frequency. You are the first tuning fork. The universe, the field of infinite potential, is the second. Your emotional state is the frequency you are constantly broadcasting into that field. Feelings of gratitude, love, abundance, and wholeness emit a clear, high, coherent frequency. Feelings of fear, lack, resentment, and victimhood emit a chaotic, low, incoherent frequency. The universe does not judge your frequency. It does not have an opinion about it. Like the second tuning fork, it simply resonates. It reflects back to you, with unfailing precision, the exact quality of the signal you are emitting. This is why trying to be positive while feeling unworthy inside will always create a reality of struggle. The universe isn't listening to your words. It is feeling your vibration. This is not philosophy. This is biophysics. The Institute of HeartMath has spent decades researching the power of our internal states. Their work has measured the electromagnetic field of the human heart and found it to be up to 5,000 times more powerful than the field generated by the brain. When your heart is in a state of what they call coherence, a state of genuine appreciation, compassion, and calm, it broadcasts a powerful, orderly signal. This signal not only regulates every system in your body, but also radiates outward, interacting with and informing the quantum field around you. This research transforms emotion from a passive feeling into a tangible, creative technology. The ancient Gnostic traditions understood this intuitively. They sought not blind faith, but gnosis, a direct, living, experiential knowing. For them, truth was not something to be believed in with the mind, but something to be felt and recognized in the heart. To feel the reality of your wholeness was to know it in the only way that mattered. It was to become the vibrating tuning fork of that truth. This is the work we are called to do, not just to think about a new reality, but to generate its frequency within ourselves so powerfully that the world around us has no choice but to harmonize with it. But this leads to the essential, practical question. How do we learn to vibrate with the feeling of a reality our five senses have not yet confirmed? How do we train our body to feel the warmth of a sun that has not yet risen? How do we bypass the faithful guard of the subconscious mind, whose only job is to replicate the past? The answer to how we vibrate with a future we cannot yet see lies in a paradox. We must use our five senses not as passive reporters of our current reality, but as active creators of our future one. The process is not about ignoring your senses, but about commanding them. This is the art of building the neurological blueprint of the person you are becoming. This is a practice of full-body immersion. It is the act of closing your eyes and feeling the texture of a fabric that is not yet in your hands. It is the act of smelling a fragrance that is not yet in the air. It is hearing the sound of a voice or the tone of a celebration that has not yet occurred. It is tasting the sweetness of an achievement before the work is done. It is the discipline of creating an experience in your inner world so complete, so vivid, and so sensorially rich that your body has no choice but to believe it has already happened. Neuroscience confirms the power of this practice. When you engage in this kind of vividly imagined sensory experience, your brain does not light up in some small, isolated imagination center. It activates the very same sensory and motor cortices that would be activated if you were physically living the event. To your brain, and therefore to your entire nervous system, a vividly felt memory of the future is physiologically indistinguishable from a factual memory of the past. You are literally building the neural pathways, the brain circuitry of your future self. You are pre-paving the roads that your reality will soon travel upon. This is the science behind the wisdom taught by the great 20th century mystic Neville Goddard. He spoke of assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled, or more simply, living in the end. This was not a call to pretend or to engage in fantasy. It was a directive to perform a profound act of spiritual occupancy. It is the act of moving into the state of consciousness of your desired reality so completely that it becomes your new home, your natural resting place. From this new internal address, your perception of the world fundamentally changes. You do not attract what you want, you attract what you are. Sensory anchoring is the disciplined process of becoming, at a cellular and neurological level, the person who is already living your desired reality. It is the rehearsal that precedes the performance, the training that makes the victory inevitable. When the tuning fork is vibrating perfectly, when the neurological blueprint is fully drafted and memorized by the body, there comes a moment where the internal work must translate into external commitment, a moment where theory must become action, a moment that demands a single courageous act of faith that severs you from your past forever. How do we identify and execute this critical step? The trapeze moment. The inner work, the resonance, the blueprinting is the essential preparation. But preparation is not the event itself. There comes a moment where all the spiritual practice in the world is meaningless without a single corresponding act in the physical world. This is the point where your new reality must be born through a conscious choice. This is the quantum leap. It is the decision, the action, that proves to yourself and signals to the universe that you are no longer available for your old timeline. Imagine you are a trapeze artist. For months, you have been strengthening your body, visualizing your performance. Now you stand on the platform. You take hold of the bar, your current reality, with all its familiar comforts and familiar pains, and you begin to swing. Your rhythm is steady. Across the expanse, you see the other bar swinging towards you. It is your desired reality. It is gleaming, new, and full of promise. The two bars move closer, closer, until they reach a point of perfect synchronicity. This is your opening. This is your portal of choice. And in this moment, you are faced with a terrifying absolute law of physics. To catch the new bar, you must first let go of the old one. You cannot hold both. There is a moment, a single eternal second, where you must be suspended in the empty air, with nothing but your faith in the momentum you have built. That moment of release is the quantum leap. It is sending the resignation email. It is making the phone call you have dreaded and desired. It is booking the one-way ticket. It is speaking your truth when silence has been your shield. It is the physical act that makes your internal shift irreversible. Psychologists have a term for this kind of action. They call them commitment devices. These are strategies we consciously use to lock our future selves into a course of action we know is for our highest good. We tell a friend our goal to create accountability. We leave our credit card at home to avoid impulsive spending. The quantum leap is the ultimate spiritual commitment device. It is a binding contract you sign with the universe, declaring that your allegiance is now with the future, not the past. It is the point of no return. And here, faith ceases to be a passive belief and becomes an active verb. It is the point where the soul's intention is forged into the body's conviction. This is your Promethean moment. In the ancient myth, Prometheus did not simply wish for humanity to have fire. He did not ask the gods for permission. He committed a single, irreversible act of cosmic defiance. He ascended to the heavens and took the fire, knowing it would change the destiny of the world forever. His choice had consequences, but it was a declaration of power. Your leap is your Promethean act. It is the moment you stop waiting for power to be given to you, and you claim it. And so, in that breathtaking moment, suspended in the silent air between the two bars, what happens? How do you survive the deafening stillness of the void before your hands grasp the new reality? That moment of release, the moment you let go of the old trapeze bar, is an act of supreme courage. But it is what happens next, in the silent, weightless suspension of the void, that will define your new reality. This space, the quiet between the bars, is where most journeys of transformation fail. Not from a lack of desire, but from a misunderstanding of this sacred, empty space. It is a silent panic. Your mind, addicted to certainty, screams for the familiar comfort of the old bar, no matter how painful it was. Your body feels the phantom limb of your old identity, and every cell remembers the gravitational pull of your past. The world outside has not yet received the memo of your internal decision. It continues to reflect your old reality back to you, testing you, asking you, are you sure? Was it not better to be safely in pain than to be lost in this terrifying emptiness? This is the final great trial of your resolve. To navigate this void, you need more than just faith. You need an anchor. You need a living example of what happens when one holds steady through this emptiness and fully commits to a new state of being. There is perhaps no greater documented case of this principle than the story of Anita Moorjani. This is not a myth or a parable. It is a medically recorded case that has been studied around the world. In 2006, Anita lay in a hospital bed in a coma, her body ravaged by end-stage lymphoma. Doctors told her family she had less than 36 hours to live. Her organs were shutting down. As her body lay dying, her consciousness expanded. She entered a state of boundless clarity, a near-death experience where she was free from fear, pain, and the identity she had known. In this state, she was given a profound understanding. Her cancer was not a random attack. It was the physical manifestation of a life lived in fear, in people-pleasing, in a constant feeling of not being enough. It was the body's response to a suppressed spirit. From this place of ultimate freedom, she was given a choice: to release her body and move on, or to return. And this was her trapeze moment. She saw that if she chose to return, she would be returning not to fight a disease, but to inhabit her body with a new, radical frequency of unconditional self-love and a fearless understanding of her own magnificence. She chose to return. What happened next stunned the medical community. Within hours of her waking from the coma, her organs began to function. Within days, the tumors that had covered her body had shrunk by 70%. Within weeks, she was declared cancer-free. Her story is the ultimate testament to navigating the void. Her healing was not the miracle. Her realization in that boundless state was the miracle. The healing was merely the inevitable after effect. When she was suspended between worlds, she did not waver. She made a choice from a place of pure, new resonance, and her physical form began to obediently reorganize itself around her new state of being. She did not defeat her old reality. She simply rendered it obsolete by choosing a new one so completely that her very cells had to align. Anita's story shows us the absolute power of an internal shift. But how do we reinforce this new state of being on a daily basis, especially when our challenges are less dramatic but our doubts are just as persistent? How do we hold true to our new frequency when the world outside is still playing the old song? We need a tool, a practice to meticulously, lovingly, and relentlessly etch the blueprint of our new reality into the fabric of our soul. To anchor yourself in the silent space between realities, you need more than will. You need ritual. You need a daily practice that systematically overwrites the memory of your past with the undeniable feeling of your future. This is the practice of future self-journaling. It is the art of remembering your future. This is not a diary of your desires. It is not a wish list sent out to the cosmos. It is a chronicle of your becoming, written from a perspective of completion. You take a pen and paper, and you write about your day, not the day you just had, but a day in your new chosen reality, as if it has already happened. You write in the past tense. You are not writing about what you will do. You are writing as the person who has already done it. You write about the feeling of waking up in your new home. You describe the quiet confidence you felt during a challenging meeting. You detail the ease and joy of a conversation in a loving relationship. You feel the satisfaction of completing a meaningful project. You infuse the pages with sensory details, the warmth of the sun through the window, the taste of the healthy food you ate, the sound of laughter. You are not asking, you are reporting. This practice is a powerful tool for a specific psychological reason. Your brain and body operate on two types of memory, declarative and procedural. Declarative memory is intellectual. It is information. You can declare, I know I want to be peaceful and confident. But procedural memory is embodied. It is a how-to. It is the memory your body holds. While your mind declares its desire for peace, your body may have a deeply ingrained procedural memory of how to be anxious. It knows the procedure for a rapid heartbeat, for shallow breathing, for a tense stomach. It is an expert in the procedure of your old self. The future self journal is how you write a new procedure. By consistently writing and feeling your way through a day in your new reality, you are teaching your body the how-to of that existence. You are creating a procedural memory of the future. You are giving your nervous system a new set of instructions, a new way of being, so that when the opportunities of your new timeline appear, your body recognizes them not as a shock, but as something familiar. It knows the procedure. It is ready. This is not a new invention. It is the modern application of ancient wisdom. Mystical traditions throughout history have honored the creative power of the word. They called it incantation, prayer, or decree. They understood that language, infused with focused intention and elevated emotion, had the power to structure the unseen world. This journal is your modern-day sacred text, a personal book of power written in the plain, clear language of your own becoming. You are not just writing down words. You are encoding frequency onto paper. You are giving the universe your new autobiography and asking it to simply reflect the story you have already written. With all these elements in place, the resonance, the leap, the navigation of the void, and this daily practice of anchoring, what is the final, liberating perception that ties all of this together? What is the ultimate insight that transforms this from a set of techniques you do into a state of being that you simply are? For so long, you have been navigating your life like a ship in a dense fog, your eyes straining against the darkness, desperately searching for a flicker of light on the horizon, a sign, a signal, a lighthouse to guide you safely to shore. You have been taught that your spiritual work is this constant, anxious search, a process of interpreting every shadow and every ripple, asking, "Is this it? What does this mean?" But this is the final and most profound illusion to be released, and its dissolution is your ultimate freedom. You are not the ship lost at sea. You are the lighthouse. Take a deep breath and let the truth of this settle into your bones. The purpose of a lighthouse is not to search for ships. It has no anxiety about which vessels are sailing in the night. It does not strain to see through the fog. Its purpose is singular, to stand on its rock, anchored in its foundation, and to emit its light, pure, steady, and unwavering, out into the vastness. Its work is not to seek but to shine. From this one singular shift in perception, the entire meaning of synchronicity transforms. It ceases to be a language you must struggle to interpret, and it becomes a simple, elegant feedback loop. Those repeating numbers you see are no longer cryptic commands from an external source. They are the universe's control tower confirming, "Signal received. Your light is visible from here." That so-called coincidence, that perfect alignment of events, is not a reward for good behavior. It is the physics of reality responding to a clear and consistent broadcast. That person who enters your life at the precise moment you need them, they are not a random gift of fate. They are the captain of a vessel who saw your light from afar and charted a new course directly toward it. The unexpected opportunity that lands at your feet is a ship that has been drawn by the clarity of your beacon. Can you feel the immense relief in this? The frantic search is over. The exhausting mental labor of trying to interpret every little sign is finished. Your task is no longer to navigate the chaotic, unpredictable waters of the world. Your task is to tend to your light. Your only responsibility is to cultivate your internal state, your resonance, your coherence, your peace. Your job is to go within, to find what dims your light, and to heal it. To find what makes it burn brighter, and to do more of that. When you embody the lighthouse, you stop asking the universe for directions. You become a destination. You trust that the light you emit is its own form of spiritual law. It illuminates the path for all that is meant for you, and it simply, effortlessly, calls it home. The knowledge you have gathered is the map. But this ritual, this is the moment you plant your flag in the new territory. This is not a task on a to-do list. It is the single most important appointment you will keep each day. It is the 5 minutes where you stop reacting to your life and start commanding it. It is the sacred act of tending to your lighthouse. Begin by finding a quiet space where you can be undisturbed. Sit comfortably with your spine straight and close your eyes. Place a hand over the center of your chest, over your heart. For the first minute, simply breathe. Inhale deeply through your nose and exhale slowly through your mouth. With each breath, feel your nervous system calming. Now bring to mind a feeling of genuine, uncomplicated gratitude, not for the things you are trying to manifest, but for the simple gifts you already possess. The feeling of the chair supporting you, the taste of your morning coffee, the sound of a bird outside your window. This is not just a pleasant thought. This is you picking up your instrument and tuning it. You are creating heart coherence. You are preparing your frequency. For the second minute, take out your future self journal. Read today's entry. If possible, read it aloud. Do not read it like a list of chores or a script you are trying to memorize. Read it as if you are recalling a fond and cherished memory from yesterday. Infuse your voice with the feeling of completion, of nostalgia for a beautiful day already lived. Let your body hear the evidence of its own success. Now, for the next 2 minutes, close your eyes again. From the memory you just read, select one single sensory detail that felt the most potent. Just one. Perhaps it was the feeling of your hand closing around a new set of keys. Perhaps it was the warmth of a specific person's hug. Perhaps it was the quiet internal hum of profound peace in your chest. Isolate that one sensation. For these 2 minutes, your only job is to live inside of it. Let it expand from a single point until it fills your entire body, from your feet to the crown of your head. You are instructing every cell, every atom of your being. This is our new home. This is our new normal. Memorize this feeling. As that feeling reaches its peak, you will make your declaration. With the resonance of that future still vibrating within you, speak these words aloud into the room. Today, I fully release the pattern of state your old limitation, like self-doubt or procrastination, so that I may fully grasp the reality of state your new reality, like my creative power or unshakable confidence. This is your trapeze declaration. This is your verbal commitment. This is the sound of you letting go of the old bar. Finally, for the last 30 seconds, open your hands on your lap, palms facing up, in a gesture of receiving and release. This is your act of sovereign trust. Say these words with quiet certainty. The light is on. I trust what is drawn to it, and so it is. You have tended to your lighthouse. You are now releasing the need to manage the how or the when. You have broadcast your signal. Now, you walk into your day, not as someone who is hoping for a change, but as the living, breathing anchor of a change that has already begun. You came here seeking a map to a new reality. You are leaving as a lighthouse. You have learned that you are not at the mercy of fate, but are in a constant dialogue with it. You have learned to tune your inner world like a tuning fork, to broadcast the clear frequency of the future you have chosen. You have learned to recognize the sacred trapeze moment and to find the courage to make the leap, releasing the old to grasp the new. And you have learned to anchor this new reality in your daily life, becoming the living proof of your own power. This entire journey from a passive observer to a conscious creator is perhaps best summarized by the timeless words of the psychologist Carl Jung, who understood the deep mechanics of the soul. He said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." Therefore, from this day forward, let the guiding question of your life no longer be, "What does the universe have in store for me?" Let it instead become, "What is the universe sensing from me?" In this single shift of inquiry, you reclaim your power, you take your place at the center of your world, and you accept the profound and joyful responsibility of your own becoming. The space below this video is not just a comment section. Let us transform it into a sacred space, a testament to collective courage. In the comments, declare the one thing you are choosing to let go of this week to make your own trapeze leap. Your declaration is more than just words. It is a signal. It is an act of power that will inspire another soul, another lighthouse, who is standing on the edge, ready to make their own jump.